The Center for Policy Research and Evaluation at the NYU Metro Center presents a parent-led conversation series focused on family engagement. My name is Danielle Perry, and I am a Senior Research Associate and Manager of Research to Practice Partnerships at the NYU Metro Center. Today, I am joined by parent leaders across the nation to discuss authentic family engagement. Thank you to Shonnie Cooley and Tina Carney for being here today and sharing your insights. So the first question that I want to open this conversation with is by asking both of you, what does family engagement mean to you?
To me, this is Tina Carney. Family engagement is necessary in my community, especially when it comes to my children's education, because there's so much wealth and knowledge and generosity in the parents and the families in my community. It's incredible. And I think it's a lot of untapped potential. And we all have different perspectives and different backgrounds. And I just love to raise my children in community like that. And because it's reflective of our world, and it's just it enriches the experience of schools. And it's important for me as I raise my family to have them be a part of community and see what that's look like.
And for me, this is Shonnie Cooley. Parent engagement to me is vital to every child's education because parents are children's first teachers. So you have to understand where the child is coming from, their environment, if you're going to teach them well. And it's important for families to understand that partnering with your educators is vital for both you and the child. Because if you're not partnering and your child is having difficulties, then it hurts your child to not be an authentically engaged. Parent engagement, as Tina said, is vital to raise your children in that type of community where parents' voices are heard, respected, and learned from.
So what I'm hearing from the both of you is that families are bringing in their wealth of knowledge and resource from their own lived experience and helping educators to create a better learning environment for children, but also creating that partnership with families so that the learning can be better supported in a way that makes sense for the educator, for the family, and for the child. So I would like for you all to share an example of what authentic family engagement looks like when it's done well.
So to me, probably because of our work, what it looks like is understanding your child so that when you go to open house, you can say, this is my daughter, such and such. She learns best this way. And that helps the teacher to understand if that child is having difficulties, how she can navigate, he or she can navigate to help the child, like remembering, oh, her mom said she learns best this way. So they can target that child in that way so that child can get what they need out of the classroom. Like, for instance, my daughter was busy. We're just gonna say busy. And and her teacher would tell me, oh, I want to be so upset with her because she fidgets, she moves, she won't sit still, but she gives me all 100s on her paperwork. And so I told the teacher that what I do for her at home is to get her sister's work, who was 4 years older than her, 4.5 years older than her, and give it to her and let her, and with no instruction, and let her figure it out when she's finished with her homework, just to keep her mind, so I can prepare dinner and stuff. So she wasn't bothering me. And her teacher, I said, so just go to an older classroom and get some work and just give it to her with no instruction. And that'll keep her busy while the rest of the classroom is working. And I also told her, she likes helping other people. So have her be a helper for a child that's struggling. And so that helped the teacher to understand, how to deal with her busyness in a way that wasn't disruptive to her or disruptive to the classroom.
Right. That's so important. And what I'm hearing is that like your daughter liked to be stimulated, and giving her an assignment that was challenging really kind of excited her. It ignited something in her to want to kind of really figure it out. And that's so important for an educator to know.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
And especially when we're thinking about students of color, that's something that can get misinterpreted. That busyness can get misinterpreted as something else. And so having that guidance from you as their parent to say, this is something that my daughter needs, is so important. So thank you for sharing that example.
As an individual level, I always feel appreciated and fantastic when I feel heard as a parent. One of my children struggled with reading for many years, even when he was very young, kindergarten, UPK, was watching it. And some would say, well, maybe he'll grow out of it. Oh, we'll just wait. Or, oh, maybe this is just how he is. And that's not what I was looking for. But then I finally found that teacher who called me once a month and said, this is what we're going to try, and this is what we're going to do, and this is what I'm seeing. And it was incredible. I felt validated, I felt heard, I felt seen, and I was partnered with someone who it was an equal partnership. I shared what what I was seeing at home and what was going on, and she leveraged her professionalism and said, well, this is the steps. This is response to intervention, or MTSS, multiple tiered systems of support. She didn't explain it to me that way, but she led me through that process, and it was incredible. Eventually led to an evaluation, and we did outside testing and found out that he was dyslexic and had learning and attentional issues. So, but it took time, and it took a teacher to really, their testing and their background didn't necessarily pick up on any of this. They weren't taught about dyslexia. They didn't know about this, but the fact that that teacher listened to me and created a relationship with me made all the difference. It's incredible and imperative. And I'm so grateful for those who lean in and listen to parents and truly meet us where we are, listen, and collaboratively problem solve together. It makes all the difference in the world for our kids.
Always emphasize that relationship building piece when we're talking about family engagement. And it's for that reason that you just shared, right? So that families feel safe in sharing their perspectives, their ideas, in ways that educators can then validate those feelings and being responsive to the needs of the family and the child. So that's so important. So you all talked about what it is and you talked about what it looks like, but I want to ask you, what does authentic family engagement feel like when it's done well?
I think I touched on it just a little bit. It feels like family, it feels supported, it feels right. You feel validated, where you're on the same page, you feel like a team, like that this isn't just it's not a us versus them, be it parents versus teachers or parents versus students, like it's truly a team. And it doesn't unfortunately happen as often as I would love for it to see. But that's why I love that we're having this conversation to highlight more of the bright spots, because I think we all want what's best for children. And let's start with that and grow from there. But recognizing that we each have a role to play, and we each matter. But it feels incredible. Like when it happens, you know it, you feel it, and it's a little addictive. You want more of it too.
Yeah, I agree with everything Tina said. And I think for not just for the parent, but the student, when they see that their parent is voicing what's going on and they're getting some response, then they know that they can come and tell their parent, well, I don't feel like I'm learning this. And that teacher is going to work with the parent and the student to make sure that they get it and they don't feel left out or left behind, which is vital to a parent, because you don't want your child to feel like they're not heard or like know that the teacher doesn't care about me understanding this lesson plan. So you don't want, as a parent, that hurts when you feel like you don't know what else to do for your child because you said it and it's not being reciprocated. So when you get that, it's like, oh my God, why aren't more teachers like this? Why don't more teachers listen to what I tell them in the beginning of the school year so that they don't have difficulties towards the middle or the end? And when you get that, it's overwhelming. It's like, this teacher loves and cares about my child as much as I love and care about my child, which is important all the time, but especially with their education.
Yes, I love all of these things. So before we close today, I just have one final thought, and that is as the 2023-2024 school year is beginning, what can educators do right now to begin to form these relationships with families to make sure that students are best supported as the school year begins?
I think for me, it is listen. Listen and give specific feedback because every child is different. I have 3 and they all learn different. So don't expect one child to get it just because the rest of the class did. Understand that every child is different, every child learns different, every family is different, and to do your best to engage. It's not always, reciprocated, but do your best to engage the family to help find out solutions for children that are struggling, or just praise your students and say thank you to mom for your baby being here on time this morning, and vice versa. Tell the teachers, thank you. My child came home excited about what you learned in class or whatever, but be a team and do what's best for each individual child.
Thank you.
I think schools schools have a lot of work to do. I get that. And I feel sometimes parent interactions or family interactions are sometimes an afterthought, but I'd encourage school folks to bring it to the forefront. Take a look at your family engagement policies. Do you have one? What does that look like? And what is your mindsets about families? Do you see them as assets? Do you see them as equal partners in this work? And just invite them to participate. It needs to come from schools. Parents like me, I will come regardless if I'm called or not, because I am a parent leader, but not all are like that. So we need our schools to reach out and to constantly invite and genuinely, especially those families from disadvantaged backgrounds, our families of color, our families of students with special needs that speak other languages other than English, are most vulnerable. They need to have seats at the table. We need to figure out how to reach and connect with their families and those students so we can all lift each other up, because when they succeed, we all will. So please lean in and get to know families, learn their names, and invite them in.
Thank you both. I want to kind of close today by thanking each of you for sharing your expertise and your time in helping us gain a better understanding of authentic family engagement. To find more resources on family engagement and parent leadership, please be sure to check out the Center for Policy Research and Evaluation's website, including our research brief series on engaging student and family voice.